Thanks for joining us for Arc Salt Lake on this Friday. I am Heidi Hatch. It is Friday, February 6th. Tonight we're taking a look at the Utah County Clerk's response to finding fraudulent signatures as efforts to repeal Prop 4 are ramping up. First, those student walkouts in protest of ICE have elected leaders talking tonight. Hundreds of students across the Salt Lake Valley walking out again today to protest the actions of ICE. 2 News spoke with a city council member about the East High School walkout. Take a listen.
There's an urgency for change, and we're seeing a generation that's been built on justice, and unfortunately they have been exposed to nothing but injustices, state-sanctioned violence, and to an egregious act from the federal government where they're inserting federal ICE agents into communities. They know it's not normal, and they're demanding that leaders come together with immediate solutions so that they don't have to fear for their families. I had tears walking up here. I couldn't believe that these kids would find people like my family so important that they need to rise up, walk out of school, and speak on behalf of them. I think this is incredible.
And, how does it make you feel knowing that this is, these students have coordinated across the area? There's multiple walkouts.
Across the nation, yeah.
Going on today. And so, how does that speak to just kind of the current climate and just where we're at and where we're going?
I think we know today that students all across America, and especially students in Salt Lake City, are looking to organize, to come together, to show our leaders that they're not going to accept this, that they're not going to accept our state and our community being left without protection against the federal government. So as a leader and as someone in elected office, I can tell you this inspires me so much to continue pushing back and to say things that need to be said, because this is so important to them. It has to be important to us too.
Also today, West High School students walking out and marching to the Capitol along with that protest of ICE. 2 News' Leslie Duarte spoke with students and lawmakers about whether or not they feel like students' efforts are making a difference on Capitol Hill.
Do you think lawmakers are seeing and hearing these protests?
Honestly, I don't know, but I hope so. I hope that Governor Spencer Cox and senators and representatives of the state capitol and even the United States of America are seeing this and say, the people are speaking. We the people, according to the Constitution, we the people are here. We are here to fight back the darkness that we once fought, in fact, 250 years ago for the independence of America, and we are here to fight the same darkness.
What message do you have to the students that are protesting?
The message is get educated on the issues. I'm glad you're expressing your right to have free speech and protest, but make sure you understand what you're protesting. If some adult is telling you something, I think that's fine, as long as you're making sure you're learning both sides of the story. And so I would encourage, especially the kids that are out there, and if you have teachers, to push back on them if you understand this issue and all the good that ICE is doing for our country.
Do you think lawmakers are paying attention to what's happening, and is that influencing their immigration policies?
Unfortunately, at least here in Utah, it's not. They killed my bill. I tried to bring it back just the other day after subsequent murders, after actions here in West Valley City. And they killed it again. And so I don't think lawmakers here in Utah are listening for some reason. These folks who have preached about small government and tyranny for a long time are now protecting law enforcement that is acting in unconstitutional ways. They are not using the proper warrants to go after people. They're going into private businesses and homes, arresting business owners. That's what we saw happen in West Valley City. And so it's very clear that they are not listening to these students, and they are not listening to the bigger movement that we are seeing around enforcement in our communities. So it's frustrating to see that hypocrisy based off of things that they've said in the past and how they are acting now.
That was Leslie Duarte. The Granite School District released a statement today to parents regarding student participation in protests. The district says under Utah law, school staff cannot physically restrain your students from leaving campus, except in a very specific situation. School personnel are also not allowed to leave the campus to supervise students during these demonstrations. Granite School District also says the walkouts are having a large impact on their students' education. They're encouraging parents to talk to their students about any planned activities and make sure they're being supervised if they're doing so. Utah Congressman Burgess Owens weighing in on the student protest. He told 2 News, I quote, am concerned about these walkouts. Parents send their children to school to be safe and to learn, not to leave campus during the school day. Every hour out of the classroom is a time students don't get back. The Constitution protects free speech and peaceful protest, and those rights matter, but skipping class is not the answer. Schools exist for learning, and the school day should be spent in the classroom, not in the streets. Civic engagement is important, but it has to happen responsibly and without disrupting our students' education. Tonight, an in-depth look at how many inmates in Utah's prisons and jails are in the country illegally and what it's costing you, the Utah taxpayer. Data provided by the Utah Department of Corrections shows about 4% of inmates at state prisons or jails self-identify as being in the country illegally, and most are already on ICE's radar. Liv Kelleher reports.
According to data from the Utah Department of Corrections, on January 30th, 277 people in custody said they were in the country illegally. That's about 4% of over 6,500 incarcerated people in the state.
The majority of those inmates are being held here at the Utah State Prison. The rest are at another state facility in Sanpete County or across our county jails. Many of their cases involve charges for serious felonies. 198 have first-degree felonies, 60 have second-degree felonies, 17 have third-degree felonies, and 2 have capital felonies and are being held in federal custody.
Over 80% have active ICE detainer requests, which require state jails and prisons to hold prisoners upon completion of their sentence to be transferred to ICE custody. This is part of a federal program.
This program formalized our partnership with ICE, but it's not new. According to a 2024 press release from the governor, this new effort will include identifying other intercept points where those who have been convicted of crimes can be turned over to ICE for deportation, relieving Utah taxpayers of the cost of imprisonment or parole.
The UDC and an attorney who represents inmates told me that regardless of immigration status or citizenship, undocumented inmates will serve their full sentence before they are referred out to ICE. Per UDC data, it costs about $156 per day to house an inmate in Utah. As of right now, that's about $15.7 million taxpayer dollars each year on illegal immigrant inmates. According to data from ICE, the most common crime convicted by illegal immigrants in prison is sexual assault, which can carry a sentence from 5 years to life.
Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
There's about 9 days left for Utahns with representative government to get enough signatures to qualify for a ballot initiative that would ask voters to repeal Proposition 4. There's still around 70,000 signatures that do need to be gathered, and the Utah County Clerk has recently found hundreds of submitted signatures have been invalidated. 2 News spoke with the county clerk about the process the county goes through to verify each signature and why so many are being thrown out.
Approximately how many signatures did you find that were not, is fraudulent the correct word, or not verified?
Well, see, that's the issue. I mean, we don't track it necessarily by fraudulent. It's either pass or it doesn't pass. So the within those packets, there's slightly over 500 names in that didn't pass, but they could pass, not pass for other reasons. We are in a very college-aged town. We've got 2 big universities in Utah County. And what we're finding is a lot of times those students, when they sign a packet, they'll sign with their apartment address because that's where they live now, but they're still registered at their parents' address. And so we can find a name and, you know, the signature looks very similar, but if the address doesn't match, we have to reject that. They have to put the address where they are registered, not where they're actually living. For students, most people put their correct address. And so we have to reject that one. So there's those rejections. There's those that think they're registered and they put their name in there, and we have to reject those. So in total of those packets, there's 27 packets so far. There's slightly over 500, but not all of those are fraudulent signatures, though it is a good percentage of them.
If you could guess of a
I would say at least 300 of them.
So that's, wow,
Coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, a victim of a police shooting speaking out how the family is handling the fallout after a ruling of Unjustified.
2 News wants to see how you celebrate 250 years of amazing America. Scan the QR code or go to KUTV.com/chime in. Click Submit Content and pick Amazing America 250 from the drop-down. Whether it's your favorite monument, your favorite park, around the state, or around the country, we want to see and share whatever makes you proud to be American. Thank you for being a part of 2 News and Amazing America 250.
Welcome back. For the first time, we're hearing from a man who was shot by police in what was ruled an unjustified shooting. The 43-year-old victim has injuries that his attorney says could be charges coming for the officer. Brian Will speaking to the victim and also his family.
I'm looking for my husband. I just want to know he's all right.
Gabriel Coda's girlfriend, Violetta Martinez, recounts the days after the shooting when she was trying to find out what hospital he was in. Coda was in a coma for nearly 10 days after a bullet punctured his lung.
I looked at him and there was blood coming vida.
This report says former Saratoga Springs officer Dean Sakona shot at Coda twice as his car moved forward. Coda maintains his foot was on the brake and came off as he was trying to take off his seatbelt and comply with officers. He says he later fled, fearing for his family's life.
He said, maybe I'm gonna get up. I'm choking, but I'm gonna get up because otherwise they're gonna come kill us all. And so he got up and started running.
Martinez's 13-year-old daughter was in the car at the time.
My daughter, she's terrified. She didn't like today. She didn't want to come because she told me, I don't want to talk to nobody, Mom. I don't even want to talk about that. If it was not because my husband told her to not, he would have killed my daughter.
The report from the Utah County's Attorney's Office says the shooting was not justified and also says Coda was in the U.S. illegally. Coda's attorney says he's been here for decades and is seeking residency. Now both tell me they're living with the fallout from all of this.
I get a lot of pain. Sometimes I couldn't walk.
I want my life back.
Is there anything that you guys would like to say to that officer?
The only thing I can tell him is God bless him.
Coda's attorney did tell me they plan to file a lawsuit against that former officer and the Saratoga Springs Police Department next week. Now, I did reach out to both of them for comment and haven't heard back. Reporting in Sandy, Brian Will, KUTV 2 News.
It's our finding that the use of force was reasonable, and therefore we would decline to file any charges against Officer Peters.
That's Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill ruling the police shooting from November of 2023 to be justified. It started after a 16-year-old allegedly stole a government van. Later in the day, police found and started chasing the van. During the chase, Gill says the van ran multiple red lights, even hit a motorcycle rider before eventually going down a dead-end street. Next, Gill says the van veered towards the police officer, and that's when the officer shot the 16-year-old driver. The teen later died from those injuries. Well, it did not fall from the sky, but there's snow in downtown Salt Lake, and this is on West Temple. Workers have created a ski joring course between the Salt Palace Convention Center and City Creek Mall. It's a sport where skiers are pulled by horses along a snowpack course. Tomorrow's event starts at 12:45 in the afternoon. For now, the road is closed, meaning you'll have to use an alternate route if you're headed in that direction. Right now, meteorologist Sean Kelly is here with your first alert forecast as we head towards the weekend.
Well, on this Friday evening, we continue to deal with dry and mild weather. We're going on nearly a month without a measurable rain or snow. But yes, finally, we are tracking some major changes. We still have to deal with unseasonably warm weather through the next few days, valley inversions and hazy skies, but in about 3 days, we're going to start to see some changes, kind of slightly, gradually getting into it, but eventually a big pattern change in a big way here, as we're going to be near 60 for Sunday and then down only into the 40s for highs on Tuesday. So again, I mentioned we still have to deal with a bit of that haze, reduced air quality all the way through the weekend, but once that initial cold front comes in, the air quality will improve significantly. 56, by the way, for a high temperature today. It's just been very warm by well over 10 degrees, and still this evening here we're into the 50s and 40s, and it's still quite comfortable across much of the state. 48 in Heber, 48 in Price, 67 right now in St. George. We had a few sprinkles across some of the higher terrain earlier today. That is no longer the case. Still plenty quiet across much of the western part of the country. But we're looking at sunshine, hazy conditions through the weekend, and then that change arrives on Monday in the form of a cold front. Initial front will move in the middle of the day on Monday. Some scattered showers, not adding up to much here initially. That drop in the temperatures, and then some lingering showers continue kind of on and off. More so just snow into the mountains, and then more so just rain in the valleys, but we could at some times see some snowflakes mixing in across the valley floors. That moisture will continue into Wednesday, with the main part and the core of the storm moving in through much of the day on Wednesday. This again will likely bring at least about 6 to 12 inches of snow for the mountains and a few showers here for the valleys. Not a big event, but this is just the beginning. We need this initial storm to see things change, not only for us, but for much of the nation. We're going to start to see a higher likelihood for above normal precipitation for areas that have not seen it in over a month, and also the cooler than normal temperatures. This is going to be combined right when we need it, at a time where we have really been lacking. It's been a historic winter, but we're going to start to see things change in a good way. So again, continue to be patient. Big changes going to be moving in by next week. So we're into the 30s overnight. Not much of a cool down. 50s for highs tomorrow. St. George, you're nearing 70 the next few days. And then into next week, we'll start to see increasing clouds from Tuesday and Wednesday. Cooler weather as well. And then across the Wasatch Front, we've got temperatures near 60. And then we're down into the 40s with unsettled weather from Monday through Wednesday. At least could even see some lingering showers into Thursday.
Well, the 2 News Super Bowl of Caring is happening right now. You can help end childhood hunger in Utah with a donation. All you do is grab your phone out, scan the QR code, or go to KUTV.com for more information on how you can give. Even just a few dollars can help feed a child for the weekend. Coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, a UVU alum has been selected for bobsledding when he'll be competing in the Olympic Games in Italy. Welcome back. Rangers at Zion National Park are getting ready for spring. It feels like it, so they may as well. The park says its shuttle service will resume starting March 7th. Park shuttles will arrive every 10 minutes in Zion Canyon and every 15 minutes in Springdale. Visitors don't need a permit, ticket, or reservation to ride the park shuttle. They will be running until next winter, so get ready for some fun and hiking again. Well, if UVU track and field alumni is headed to Italy for the Olympics, Team USA just selected Caleb Furnell to join the four-man bobsled team. He graduated from UVU in 2024. Furnell will help push the sled at the top of the track. It's not an easy job. He is now the fourth Winter Olympian in UVU history. The bobsled event starts officially February 12th. It runs until the 22nd. Tonight, though, the opening ceremonies in Italy. Well, here in Salt Lake City, the NHL honoring Utah Mammoth goalie Karel Vejmelka. He's the league's third Star of the Week. It's the second time this season that Vejmelka has received this honor. The Mammoth won both games this week with Vejmelka in goal. The Mammoth have now started their Olympic break, and they'll be back on the ice at the end of this month. So we'll be watching closely as the Olympics get underway, and some of our players will be there as well. If you have time and you live close to the U, you've got 4 minutes left. They lit the cauldron tonight that is right there near Rice-Eccles Stadium. It'll stay that way until 7:30. An Olympic watch party happening at Salt Lake City County Hall in downtown Salt Lake City as well, if you'd like to join in all of the fun and celebrations for the Olympics as well. Thanks so much for being with us on this Friday night. We'll see you for 2 News at 9 and 10. You're serious?
Well, on this Friday evening, we continue to deal with dry